Member contribution salary thresholds for 22-23 are being decided and will be announced in due course. This is expected in early 2022. Employer contributions are set until 2024 and will not change significantly before then. HM Treasury announced minimum pension age will increase from 55 to 57 in April 2028. We await final legislation, but it is likely that the minimum pension age for Alpha will increase to 57, but that legacy schemes will be protected at age 55. Please do not communicate this to members at this time. Members who joined before 2006 and have a protected minimum pension age of 50 will continue to keep that protected age. The scheme expects to stage, i.e. have to supply data to dashboard, from late 2023, although the dashboard is unlikely to be open to individuals to use at that time. No additional requirements for employers have been identified at this point. Cost Cap 2016 will conclude after HM Treasury publishes final directions, which is expected shortly. Cost Cap 2020 and Valuation 2020 are progressing. HM Treasury recently published a consultation response on changes to the Cost Cap mechanism, which will affect Cost Cap 2020 assessment. Results of Valuation 2020 and Cost Cap 2020 are expected in 2022. Consultation on changes to Civil Service Compensation Scheme reform continues. The deadline to sign up to 2010 terms is the 31st of December 2021 and will be reviewed in coming months. The £95,000 cap, introduced by HM Treasury, was revoked earlier this year. Any exits in excess of £95,000 continue to require Cabinet Office approval. We want to provide you with an update on the activity to date, provide you with information on key dates, and give you an indication of our expected next steps. As you can imagine, there are a lot of details we are working through, as well as developing plans and processes. We are working through a variety of products to help members. Retirement Modeler. We realise that when making the choice, our members will have a number of factors to take into consideration. We hope to have an illustrator ready in 2022. This will provide members with information of what remedy means and general information of the likely differences between the pension schemes. It will not provide personalised benefits. We are aiming to have a modeler available for members to use in 2023. This will have functionality to provide members with all pension information and be able to assess what remedy benefits would likely be in Alpha, Underpin, and what the benefits would be like if they stayed in PCSPS. We can see on the timeline a number of key milestones. The next key date is April 2022, when all members in service will be placed into the Alpha scheme. By the 1st of October 2023, the Underpin calculation will be introduced for those retiring from this date. From October 2024, annual benefit statements will provide your pension benefits under both the scenarios from the remedy period. We appreciate that employers are very keen to understand progress on the 2015 remedy programme. So, whilst we have been establishing a more formal communications structure, we have been keeping employers up to date on the programme progress through existing communications channels. This has included Live at Lunch sessions, Pension Awareness Week, PPDG, and Civil Service Live, to name just a few. More information can be found on the Civil Service Pensions website, www.civilservicepensionscheme.org.uk. From the 1st of April 2022, the PCSPS scheme, legacy schemes, will close, and employers will be required to move active members into Alpha at the 1st of April 2022. There are around 45,000 members that need to be moved into Alpha. The process to do this will be via the interface. Employers will follow the BAU process for moving members into Alpha, as per the tapered enrolment process that was introduced as part of Alpha. To support employers, we will provide an employer impact document, which will outline what employers need to know, need to do, and what support will be available from the programme. Added pension. As the added pension policy has been finalised, we are currently planning what communications will be needed to support members who have added pension. We expect to go out to these members separately later in the year. Legislation. The Public Service Pensions and Judicial Offices Bill is currently at the committee stage, which involves a detailed examination of the bill. We are aiming to get royal assent in early 2022. The government will introduce new legislation when parliamentary time allows. Once these steps are complete, implementation will begin, and the changes will then be introduced. For more information on the stages of the bill, go to https://bills.parliament.uk/3032. Understanding our members. We already conduct evaluation of our communication products with employers through BAU channels, such as PPDG, Civil Service Live and Live at Lunch sessions. Union engagement. This is important in understanding our members' needs. The programme had a recent meeting with unions, with subsequent discussions planned for the future to discuss communication with members. Trade unions will also have sight of comms collateral as it is produced, to enable them to provide comment and have early sight ahead of their own engagement with members. Since the last Regional Employer Forum, there have been a number of programme developments, which we wanted to update you on. Ill health. The 2015 Remedy Programme's ambition was to undertake a dual medical assessment for those members who embarked on the ill health retirement process from October 2021 to March 2022, and who moved to Alpha from PCSPS. This would have meant that those members who moved to Alpha from PCSPS would be medically assessed under both legacy and reformed schemes. The 2015 Remedy Programme has been working really hard behind the scenes for some time, in preparation for the commencement of the dual assessments for future cases. One of the main key dependencies is on the legislative framework and tax policy decisions to be delivered by HMT, which will allow this new process to be fully embedded. Currently, there are insufficient legislative powers to accurately process and calculate immediate detriment to members' benefits, as key areas require legislative change to avoid the potential of unwelcome tax consequences for members. HMT does not have the legislative framework in place to govern this change. HMT's advice and position is that schemes do not proceed ahead of legislation, and if they do, it cannot guarantee that cases would be processed accurately with potential unwanted tax consequences for individuals. Because of this, the 2015 Remedy Programme Board recommended a no-go decision. These members will join the historical ill health retirement cohort and will be actioned once the scheme has introduced new retrospective legislation. The HMT tax team is currently focusing on delivering the legislation. Once that is resolved, we will have further information on how we will assess the outstanding issues, including processing these cases, which should provide a better indication of likely timings. Once these processes are in place, members will be offered the option to be medically reassessed under both legacy and reformed schemes, therefore ending the discrimination. There is no guarantee that a reassessment will be successful. However, all members who have been refused will be offered this option. It has also been clarified that the SMA is able to repurpose the original consent to enable them to carry out the reassessments. Data collection. The data pilot started in October and will last approximately 6 weeks. Pilot findings will be collated at the end of November. 7 employers are taking part in the pilot, including New Fair Deal employer and SSCL. All employers are fully engaged and attend weekly checkpoint calls. The aim is to collect data for approximately 4,000 members within the pilot from their Phase 1 totals. User guidance materials and FAQs have been created and distributed to pilot employers to review and use throughout the pilot. Pilot data collection sheets have been sent. The collection of data is due to last 6 weeks, ending in pilot findings collated at the end of November. Areas we are looking to test within the pilot and provide assurances are employer resource efforts and timings for return of data, employers' ease of data collection for members, confirmation if user guidance materials are fit for purpose, data collection tool processes, sending and receiving data to and from employers, data collection tool enhancements if required, confirm whether MyCSP resources and support is sufficient to support employers. Communication update. Employers. We are in the process of delivering a robust campaign that will reassure, inform, signpost, and engage. The campaign has been initiated to provide an update on the Remedy 2015 programme to employers and members. The outcome will be that stakeholders will be reassured that no action is currently required, but as the programme activity continues, they will be aware of the anticipated timelines for any activity. For employers, this means a parent web page for Readiness with hyperlinks to other contents, information, clear employer roles and responsibilities, what employers need to know and need to do, what employers can expect from us, a process and feedback survey. This is currently being stepped up, so we will be cascading more information in the coming weeks. We have taken into consideration the individual needs and challenges employers are facing in the delivery environment and tailored our engagement approach to address these as much as possible. Employers will be supported in their role and responsibilities by the 2015 Remedy Programme. The purpose of the business readiness approach is to provide the programme with assurance that both the employer and the 2015 Remedy projects are in a fit state to go live. Ensure that employers are fully aware of the delivery timescales. Ensure that the employer has a complete understanding of what is required of them. Ensure that process, technical and data activities have been completed. Ensure that all relevant delivery and awareness training has been completed. Ensure all cascade communications have been delivered. We're building a comprehensive range of tools that inform design, with the aim of delivering exceptional customer experience. We're developing a suite of collateral to inform channel shift and customer experience, all focused on the end user. We've produced a set of fictional characters to help us deliver better customer experiences. They're evidence-based, using data extracted from the Civil Service Pension Scheme member demographic. We also used expertise and insights from colleagues and subject matter experts at MyCSP, EQ and the Cabinet Office. We've also researched wider public sector and private sector best practices, such as the Government Digital Services Principles and the Customer Service Excellence Standards. The design personas make us think about our members' behaviours, emotions, motivations and frustrations. They also help us to focus on disability, accessibility, diversity and inclusivity. The personas will continuously evolve with the CSPS scheme membership, wider society and technology. We've also created a set of design principles to test our designs against the end-to-end customer journey. Design visions and principles are key design tools, helping us focus on delivering better customer experiences for scheme members. The design principles have been delivered collaboratively, using expertise from within my CSP and Cabinet Office. There are a set of principles aligned to each of the 5 design visions. We use the visions to constantly remind us of what best practice looks like. It's been a busy year so far for all aspects of pensions. In the engagement team, we've continued on our mission to engage directly with our members, so they in turn engage with their pension. Here are some of the things we've done to support this since the last regional employer forums. We've delivered a total of 8 Live at Lunch sessions this year. These sessions have been well attended and feedback extremely positive. During these sessions, delivered as part of Pension Awareness Week in September, over 19,000 members attended the 5 sessions, and in a survey issued afterwards, 79% of respondents said the events had helped them better understand and value their civil service pension benefits, and 85% would recommend future events to a colleague. We'll be running more Live at Lunch sessions in March, April of next year. More information on this coming soon. Although this year's Civil Service Live event suffered from some IT issues, we were able to deliver our planned session, even though it was to a smaller audience than we had hoped for. We delivered an active member newsletter to 500,000 members, covering topics such as the pension portal, 2015 remedy, death benefit nominations, and our mobile device app. We'll be distributing a pensioner newsletter between April and July next year. Our award-winning Pension Power training is still going strong. Over the first 6 months, April to September, over 11,000 members attended, which is great to see. We're currently looking into what can be done to keep these sessions fresh and relevant to our members, and we welcome your feedback. We've also started to look into how we can engage with specific groups of members. One of the first groups we have looked at is individuals who had opted out of the scheme and how we can provide them with benefit information they could be missing out on, or information about the partnership scheme. As a result, we wrote to civil servants who had opted out of the scheme to provide them with this information, and we're pleased to say that a number of these members have now opted back in. As noted on the previous slide, we've reduced the number of members who opted out of the scheme and are not saving towards their retirement. One of the ways we are doing this is by promoting the partnership scheme. The Partnership Pension Account is a defined contribution scheme. It is provided as an alternative option for members who do not wish to join Alpha. The single provider for the partnership scheme is Legal & General. Partnership allows members greater flexibility in how much they pay into the scheme, with the security that their employer will still contribute for them even if they do not. It also provides members with numerous choices of where their contributions are invested. To help members manage their partnership account, Legal & General have a number of tools that members can use. Legal & General's Col 8 portal and app allows members to manage their DC pension and provides access to Pension Self-Service, Legal & General's microsite, annual benefit statements, and the option to watch a video annual benefit statement. The Retirement Living Standards tool, which allows members to determine how much they are likely to need in retirement to provide the lifestyle they want. Tumelo, an engagement tool which allows members to see which companies their pension fund is invested in. It also allows direct engagement with the fund manager regarding company votes. From an employer perspective, there are a number of things that you need to do to ensure that the partnership scheme runs smoothly. You must ensure your interface and contributions are provided to Legal and General by your agreed date. This is to ensure that the member does not suffer any loss of investment. Plus, if they are late, this can lead to you being reported to the pensions regulator. In April 2019, EPN 576 reminded employers of their duty of certifying the quality of the partnership scheme. This must be renewed every 18 months. You are likely to need to carry out the recertification action again in April 2022. EPN 576 provides details of the actions you'll need to take. Just like under the main scheme, there needs to be assurance that accurate contributions are provided to the partnership scheme. This means that the partnership scheme has a contribution assurance framework. Details of this and any actions you may need to take can be found in EPN 600. The annual assurance statement exercise is now complete, with all but 3 employers responding within the agreed time frame. Initial analysis indicates employers are carrying out their actions to the scheme. The Employer Engagement and Compliance Matrix was introduced to track the overall employer performance measures. It is made up of 9 criteria, split between 2 categories: essential and desirable. Employers are scored on these actions and accumulate points through the year. Right now, we are awaiting the half-yearly report. You have asked MyCSP to review the current management information packs. Your ERM will be contacting you to see if there is anything else which you would find of use to help in the delivery of the pension scheme. As detailed in EPN 639, the Minister of the Cabinet Office and HM Treasury has asked what more could be done to promote pensions as part of attracting individuals into the civil service. We have been working with colleagues in the Government Recruitment Service to improve the job adverts on the Civil Service Jobs website by highlighting the scheme's benefits and generous employer contribution rate. These changes will initially be made to Cabinet Office and HM Treasury. However, the aim is for this uniformed wording to be used on all job adverts. We have published a scheme benefit information sheet as an annex to EPN 639 for employers to use in potential candidate packs. We've also produced a 1.5-minute video that uses real members to describe how their civil service pension will enable them to focus on their passions in retirement. This will be hosted on the Civil Service Careers and the Civil Service Pensions website. If there are any further tools or information we can provide to assist in the recruitment of civil servants, please let us know. Rob joined MyCSP EQP as Head of Engagement and Communications in May 2021. New to the world of pensions, Rob's background is in IT, marketing and digital. Rob has spent the last 5 years working in leadership roles, agency side, joining us from a media production agency specialising in TV ad production, where he worked as commercial director. Prior to that, Rob worked for a digital agency as head of product, delivering digital consultancy services, as well as leading an R&D team to develop one of the first independent software-as-a-service-based self-service platforms for social housing providers in the UK. Rob is working closely with colleagues at Cabinet Office, MyCSP and the wider EQ Group across a range of projects and initiatives to bring a fresh perspective to how we communicate and engage with both members and employers. Together, we'll build on the strong foundations colleagues have collectively worked hard to establish over the last several years. In the 6 months since joining MyCSP, Rob's been involved with a range of projects and initiatives. Here's a flavour of some of the work he's been doing. Remedy. developing and delivering the Remedy RISE comms plan to support both members and employers, with a range of collateral, tools and information up to and beyond April 2022. This includes the development of new video, web pages and a chatbot tool that will help members understand if they are affected and support with directing queries about Remedy. CX transformation. Working with programme colleagues at MyCSP and Cabinet Office as member product owner to help shape and deliver significant improvements to the member digital experience. Scheme website. Taking the lead on development of a new and improved scheme website, starting with overhauling the information architecture and moving into contact review, and new template designs. Initial launch expected Q1 2022. Content and events. The Communications and Engagement team delivered a successful Pension Awareness Week in September 2021, with over 19,000 members attending the virtual event. As a team, we also used government digital content design principles to help improve member experience during ABS, creating a brand new page to help members navigate the pension portal registration process. Despite expecting an explosion of enquiries during distribution, thanks to this helpful intervention, we were able to avoid such an outcome. Building and shaping the team. We have a very capable team at both Cabinet Office and MyCSP, with a strong track record of success, evidenced by a staggering 16 industry award wins since January 2021, recognising our work in comms. New scheme website. Launch in Q1 2022. Continued review of content post-launch using content design principles. Further development to improve both employer and member experience. 2022 scheme year planning. Planning out our comms and engagement calendar for 2022, including creating digital-first newsletters for active members, introducing new comms and engagement channels, new digital tools to support members and employers, deliver and use new tools. We'll deploy a range of new tools as part of Remedy, and look to test whether these can be rolled out more widely across the scheme, including Remedy Am I Affected tool, chatbot tool to support query handling, trialling gov.uk Notify to allow us to email members directly. Strategy. Pulling all this together, we'll crystallise our shared vision with our communication strategy, engagement strategy, content management strategy. Data management plan, our journey so far. Since the publication of an NAO report in 2016 regarding scheme data quality, MyCSP has been engaged by the scheme manager to work with employers to improve data quality for the scheme. Fundamentally, the purpose of the scheme is to pay the correct pension benefits to its members when they become due. It is therefore imperative that the scheme achieves and maintains the highest possible data quality standards to comply with its core functions and to ensure the cost-effective use of resources. So, together with the scheme administrator, we have developed the Data Improvement Plan, DIP. It focuses on 3 distinct, yet closely related key areas, namely processing new data, turning off the tap, correcting historic data, end-of-journey processes, crystallization processes and data retention agreements. So, what has happened on our data journey so far? Our primary focus over the last 2.5 years has been active member data, which has seen an improvement as at the end of March 2020, from 1,143,669 data validation failures, DVFs, across 282,875 members, to 65,400 DVFs across 32,586 members. Since the data cleanse began in October 2017, the total of data validation failure count has achieved a net reduction of 1,078,269, 94.2%. The Data Improvement Plan addresses the remaining data validation failures from the active cleanse and provides a trigger for a cleanse of deferred and pensioner records as a one-off programme. It will also include improvements to processes for new data and end-of-journey processing to maintain the ongoing quality of pension data held by the scheme administrator. So, what next? We want to look at how we process new data, ensuring interface checks are robust to keep incoming data clean, whilst the end-of-journey processes ensure all data held on a member's record at the point of leaving service is clean and sufficient for current and future processing requirements. The new data and end-of-journey processing requirements are currently being analysed and yet to be fully defined by MyCSP, scheme manager and employers. Ultimately, the Data Improvement Plan and parallel data-driven projects will lead to more effective administration and better member experience. Just to add here a quick update on our plans for the residual data validation failures from the active member cleanse. Cabinet Office have instructed the scheme administrator to include as part of the Data Improvement Plan a targeted programme of work to cleanse the residual active member records. Based on further analysis of the remaining DVFs, MyCSP have proposed taking a member-by-member approach, prioritising those employers with a larger volume of active members with DVFs. During the active data cleanse, there were instances where an employer corrected a data validation check on part of the member record, but, as they were cleansing by DVF rather than holistically, this could cause issues with the consistency of the entire record. Therefore, all bulk cleanse will be undertaken holistically, with MyCSP analysts ensuring that corrections from employers don't create further DVFs, and where possible, cleanse the member's record entirely. We have had to apply a range of contingencies around the entire data cleanse project, actives and deferred and pensioner, due to the constraints COVID-19 has placed upon us all. With employers having to work from home and unable to access workplaces, our approach has been to focus the cleanse on those DVFs that do not require any employer involvement. We will continue to keep all lines of communication open with regards to employer involvement, but will be adhering to government guidelines over the coming months as we begin the return to work. Deferred and pensioner approach. In addition to the active member data cleanse, MyCSP were engaged by the scheme manager to define data cleanse for deferred and pensioner member data. The first phase of the project reduced the data validation failure DVF count from 5.1 million to 1.26 million, with a reduction in members with at least one DVF from 1,011,372 to 598,695 between October and December 2018. The data cleanse work for circa 95% of D&P members' records with DVFs will continue until the end of December 2021. We have agreed the following targets for members with one or more data validation failures on their records to reduce from 599,000 to 37,000, and the actual DVFs in the population to reduce from 1,028,000 to 166,000. My CSP are cleansing these records by DVF and are utilising bulk cleanse opportunities wherever feasible, which will clear as many as 100,000 DVFs. Less than 10% of deferred and pensioner data validation failures require employer involvement. However, by using lessons learned from the active cleanse, this can be reduced to around 2%, 26,000 DVFs. Since the deferred and pensioner cleanse began, the number of data validation failures, DVFs, have reduced from 1,262,111 to 75,502, which is a total net reduction of 1,186,609 DVFs. The total number of members with a DVF has reduced from 598,695 to 44,456, which is a total net reduction of 554,239. Once this part of the deferred and pensioner cleanse is completed, the residual amount of deferred and pensioner member records outstanding for cleanse is expected to be in the region of between 30,000 and 40,000 members' records. These records will require employer assistance to cleanse, and similar to the residual cleanse for active members above, we will discuss options with my CSP in Q4 of 2021. Progress will be reviewed prior to the end of this phase, re-baselined, and the scope for further phases determined. Any further rectification work is therefore undefined at this point in time, but is expected to follow the same principles. Interface Compliance Model launched in January 2018. So in order to support you, the employers, and to address the root cause of historic poor data quality, the Interface Compliance Model was developed. It was designed to ensure the scheme data that is being interfaced is accurate and received in a timely manner. Targets and measures were put in place to ensure all employers adhere to the scheme's expectations. This was launched in January 2018 to help employers who are on a standard or manual interface monitor and improve the timeliness and accuracy of the data they submit. The error target rate for 2018 was 2%. In January 2019, this was reduced to 1%, and in January 2020, we introduced the new 0.5% error target rate. In August, 95.6% of employers met the compliance measure of 0.5% for their July interface, an increase on the June interface performance of 94.9%. Weekly reports are provided to the Cabinet Office with information on the additional work undertaken by our interface analysts, with employers to reach the right first time target as per the requirements of the compliance model. The number of employers achieving the target with their first submission and before additional support was 92.7%. Interface analysts continue to provide additional support and guide employers to ensure the data received meets the agreed compliance targets. We are in the process of reviewing the support provided and working with my CSP to define what this should look like in the future. If an employer becomes non-compliant with the timeliness of their interface, a remediation plan is agreed. This involves a communication being issued advising additional steps are required to ensure they are able to submit their data in a timely manner going forward, as well as being given the option to amend their agreed submission date. 0.25% error target. In line with our interface compliance model, we are currently considering the next phase, which would be to reduce the target rate from 0.5 to 0.25%. However, we feel that the 2015 Remedy Programme will present employers with a new set of challenges in 2021. And, to this end, MyCSP did not introduce the 0.25% error target rate in January, but will keep this under review and will look to introduce this potentially in the second half of 2021. We will continue to communicate via the usual channels, for example EPNs, to ensure you are given enough time to prepare for the change. Continue to develop the Data Improvement Plan. Fundamentally, the purpose of the scheme is to pay the correct pension benefits to its members when they become due. It is therefore imperative that the scheme achieves and maintains the highest possible data quality standards to comply with its core functions and to ensure the cost-effective use of resources. We shall continue to work alongside the scheme administrators to develop the Data Improvement Plan. Ultimately, the Data Improvement Plan and parallel data-driven projects will lead to more effective administration and better member experience. Complete the Deferred and Pensioner Cleanse. The Deferred and Pensioner Data Cleanse is due to be completed by MyCSP by the end of December. Progress will be reviewed prior to the end of this phase, re-baselined, and the scope of further phases determined. Any further rectification work is therefore undefined at this point in time, but is expected to follow the same principles. We will, of course, allow employers sufficient lead-in time to secure resources and deliver training before commencing on the employer phase of the Data Cleanse project. And finally, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say on behalf of the Cabinet Office my thanks to you all for all your hard work in continually striving to improve the quality of our scheme data for our members.